Gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
The Aussie Suns Podcast. Honestly, with me on here, your ratings are going to skyrocket. So much bigger than the Chinese Suns Podcast, than Canada's Suns Podcast, than, those other countries. They all are great, but your ratings are going through the roof. It's really great to see.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans Podcast. We are back. We are ready to roll again on a Monday night this week, due to the fact that I had kids' parties all weekend, and these cowards didn't want to do it by themselves because the technology was going to be too tricky for them. Boyd, welcome back, my man. How are you?
Very good, buddy. Very good. I actually had a kid's birthday party, which I got hammered at as well over the weekend. It was great.
Congratulations. I can only celebrate that. The good thing for you is you didn't have to run the fucking thing. I had to do 3 of them.
Oh, shit. Yeah, no, fuck that.
So I'm a bit fucking exhausted today. It was a long weekend. Hanno, talking about exhausted, sticking it out for us, even though you have to get up at fucking stupid o'clock in the morning to work. How you going, buddy? Welcome.
I'm going all right, man. Glad to be here. Didn't have any kids' parties to attend, but I'm sure I did something on the weekend. Can't remember what it was, but yeah, must have had a good time.
Sounds like fun. Unfortunately, Nate had to pull the pin on us at the last minute. The poor man had to drink like a tower of beer while he was in a meeting or something. So must be a terrible life.
Yeah, fuck him. And he's in Singapore at some fucking whore bar, drinking piss, talking to his fucking workmates, and that's the meeting he had. That's about it. He's ditched us for a better time, guys. That's all he's done.
I don't doubt that. I do not doubt that for a second. If you're checking us out on YouTube, do us a solid, hit the like button, leave a comment, help us get the message out there. We had a considerable amount of people that watched this show last week, and we ended up with 20 likes. Come on, guys, just hit the fucking like button. It can't be that hard. You're on YouTube. Hit the like button. It's just down there. Just go right now, hit it. Leave us a review, leave us stars if you're on Spotify and all that sort of shit, because it just helps us get out there and helps us build the viewers. And we can't keep bringing Boyd on looking like a male model, basically shirtless, if we don't start to extend that reach and get the ladies knowing about Boyd being on here.
Guys, I accept good feedback. You can send some shit feedback, but I'll probably just fucking scroll past. But yeah, no, any superlatives you want to throw my way, by all means, throw them out there. Thank you.
And most of the comments we do get are from Boyd speaking about himself at the moment. So
yeah, they are.
Let's get some comments in there, give us something else to read that we can share on the show.
I'll make
our
one
comment
quickly. Is that the new jersey you got there, Gav?
It is the new jersey. I've got the new Sunburst.
Ooh, she pretty.
Sunburst.
She's pretty, man.
Pretty
nice.
Fucking pleased. Thank you very much to staff for hooking me up with that. I'm kind of sick of not seeing Boyd in anything at all. So what I'm going to do, Boyd, is I've got one of these knockoff Valley jerseys here because I've got a double up of Chris Paul, and I'm going to bring it up and give it to you next time I'm in Brisbane.
Fuck yeah. This weekend or what?
No, mate, I'm not there till after Christmas now, unfortunately.
Fuck yeah.
What I might do is you can send me your address and I'll wrap it in Christmas paper and send it up so you can open it on Christmas morning.
Don't send it, man. Just tell them the address now.
Yeah, just put your address out on here, mate. It should be right.
God bless. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I'll take it.
Just a disclaimer. We are just Suns fans and fans of the NBA. So if you're locked on Dubs and you've somehow fallen across this, you probably should leave now because apparently we know nothing. And we're not allowed to have opinions because we're just fans. Guys, let's have a look at this week's games. or last week's games. So we had a four game run. We see our record up there. We're 16-7 now, 12-2 at home, absolutely dominating at home. Away, little bit of a concern at 4-5, 1 game win streak. We rolled Sacramento. In the end, it was pretty comfortable, even though the 5 points sort of says something different. Absolutely fucking demolished the Chicago Bulls. Houston, disappointing win, loss in the end, really, because we had them on toast the whole game, and that score's wrong, so I apologise for that because we only lost by a point. And San Antonio, obviously, today, which was basically like someone just put some fucking cones on the floor and the guys were doing layups. So I think, based on that, I can easily and comfortably play this.
Suns had a great week this week, fantastic week, really tremendous. If you think about how they were able to score more than the other teams, really contributed to some wins.
So, lads, it was a good week. Talk to me. We'll start with you, Hamo. Talk to me about the week.
Look, I'm going to pinch a name off Espo here, the Sucktown Kings. Look, they tried really hard, man. That was a really good game to watch. Just not good enough. I'll probably say his name wrong, but Huerta,
Kevin Huerta.
Huerta and Sabonis were really good. It was really funny, though. The last time out, I chucked it up in one of the chats or on the Twitter sphere or something like that. Sabonis coming out of that timeout looking like he'd just been 5 rounds, man. He was all pink. He had scratches all over him, bruises. Looked like he'd been through the ringer, man. And I guess the Suns were pretty good too. Ayton, Booker, obvious standouts, but I think TC really showed up in that game too, man. I thought he had a blinder of a game. It's a shame he is dealing with a niggling injury or whatever's going on with him at the moment. But no, that was a really good game, man. There was 2 this week I had in question, and that was one of them. So I was really happy that we come away with that dub, man.
Boyd.
You want the whole lot or just a Sacktown?
I don't know. Hamo, was that all you had for all the games, or?
Because we're not coming back to you, mate, and you're on mute.
All right. We're doing that then. The Chicago Fools, that was just a bath. Like, you've got 4 people, DeRozan, Levine, Caruso, and Hoovervich, or whatever the fuck his name is, combined for the same amount of points as DA and Booker. That's enough said with that game, man. 4 people to get what 2 of us did. Rockets, I put it up in the chat. I think it was in the Suns Jam Sessions chat. Check them out, guys. The Rockets are a bugaboo team for me, man. I don't know. They're not that good, but there's just something that happens. They're always a thorn in our side. You know what I mean? And proved it this week too. And then the Spurs. I literally have written here, hearty chuckle. It was a really good, nice spread of points, though. They didn't know where the scoring was going to come from us, and I think that made it extremely hard for them. You look at the points spread across the team, and it was pretty damn good, man. So yeah, no, it sucks losing to Houston, but extremely happy with the win over Sucktown, and yeah, I think it was a good week.
Boyd.
Yeah, guys, these are all games that we should have won this week, if you ask me. And we're favourites for all of them, and we should have really beat them all. But that underdog thing, we spoke about it over the last couple of weeks, where we sort of let our guards down every now and then. Now, I think we did that against Houston towards the end of that game. It wasn't a match until that final quarter, really, and we just did not keep it together for the full length of the match. Now, Sacramento, that game was played at a frenetic pace. It was fucking fast as fuck. There was both teams were scoring at will. and it was just it was a really enjoyable game to watch that one. It made me yeah, I didn't even want to leave the room for when there was a timeout. It was that it had me, stuck to my.
Fun to watch, wasn't it?
It was a good one. It was a good one. Now, but they've got a couple of stars in that team, and a couple of up and comers. So I thought that they were going to be a bit of a mixed bag. Also, like Chicago aren't playing to their potential this season, but they've still got some cattle there that can light it up and are playing below where they should be playing. So that was whilst we should have won, that was a game that I thought we'd lose before we lost to Houston. And then Houston, of course, it was let the guard down today against the fucking Spurs. Was just like, wow. It was just a nice little cherry. A nice little cherry on the end of the week for me. It was we always love to beat the Spurs. We always love to beat them, and we did it on the first night of a back-to-back. We should have plenty of gas in the tank or petrol in the pump for the Mavs tomorrow. And I really enjoyed this week of basketball. I wish that we had got all W's, but it is what it is, man. Chris Paul's got to be sitting back right now thinking, fuck, we're good. We've got the Devin and fucking Ayton show is starting to hum along. Cameron Payne, he's playing out of his skin and he's creating some synergy with some key guys. And look, we got all these players that are just sort of standing up deep in the rotation, and it's a real pleasure to watch and be a fan of at the moment.
Yeah, no, I hard to argue, and I think one of the points you just made then was the thing that I was probably the happiest with is this is the second of our back-to-backs, and for the second time, the first night of that back-to-back, we've blown out the opponents, which has meant that our starters could sit the last quarter, and that's important going into a back-to-back, especially like this when you're on the road. And we've got to travel, go back. We've got to go to Dallas. We've got to play that fucking bunch of scrubs down there. So having basically the entire starters, well, even while they were playing, they didn't exactly have to exert a hell of a lot of energy tonight. Fantastic stuff. The Sacramento win was great. I agree with both of you. That was a cracking game of basketball to watch. Really, really good. Chicago, Boyd, how many attempts did you have to watch that Chicago game in the end?
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, look, this week has been fucked for me in totality. I've been working away, and I've been fucking with flights. Actually, I was up in Townsville. I caught up with a mate at the terminal where I was watching the game, and I'm like really excited. The flight was delayed. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to catch this fucker. I'm going to catch a lot of this game. It's going to be great. And this guy from down in Brisbane, up in Townsville, he's there and he's like, Boydie, let's go have a fucking beer. We've got time. It's delayed. So I had to go fucking drink. Smashed down 5 schooners and missed a fair bit of the game because he doesn't like basketball at all. He's a footy nut. So, yeah, that was pretty fucked. But anyway, yeah, no, look, and it's just been tough, mate. Tough with work and all that sort of stuff. So I've caught the most of each game, but yeah, it's been tough.
You didn't answer the question because we know that you put in our chat that you were up to at least your 4th attempt to watch the game. How many attempts did it take you to get through that Chicago
fucking
game?
heaps. I don't fucking know. Fucking heaps. I just gave you some background.
It was pretty. It was a pretty damn good game. The thing I loved about the Chicago game, I mean, Book was fucking phenomenal. 20 from 25 from the field, unbelievable.
The 51 banger.
The thing I loved about that game was even though we had it safely in hand, Monty ran Ayton so that he could get his 30. And at the end of the game, and I don't know whether you got to the end of the game though, Boyd, but he actually ran those last 4 plays precisely so that Ayton could score.
Yeah, well, I did watch the replay on Fox later on that night, but it was interrupted as well. So, but yeah, look, mate, I really appreciate Monty doing that, it does the world of good for his confidence. He needed that burger, that 30 burger. It's not a 51 burger, but it's a good burger for DA. Really, it's exactly what he needed. And you know what? It's he's also doing it super efficiently. Book's been on fucking like white fire. He's been fucking lighting it up like shit. It's gonna player of the week's gonna be tough, but I think we'll all come to.
And we talk about Book being on white fire. Even the Houston game, I mean, Book had 44 again. It was his third in a row over 40. It was a disappointing loss, but in saying that, it was sort of one of those games where you just they could be a trap game, they could be a difficult game. But touching on what Hamo said before, Houston gives us trouble because they got length. They've got a lot of young guys, a lot of length, explosive type players. And for fuck's sake, we started, and I don't want to be too negative about it, but why in hell we started Dario Saric in that game against a side that is basically all young lateral movers, explosive movers. He looked out of place from the start. He was much better today against the Spurs, but the Houston game just did not suit. It was a perfect game to put Damian Lee in as the starting four. He would have been quicker and more. He would have been able to actually cover that off far better than what Dario could. In saying that, when I sort of go back and have a look at everything that did happen, we were actually in front for the Dario minutes. It was the last quarter when Dario didn't play a single minute that we got blown out. So I could sit there and make these observations, but I might be wrong.
But look, and just in you saying that, and we had a bit of a chat about it in our chat, Gav. I called it the Dario getting some minutes there, and the reason I liked it was the showcase, right? Showcasing some Dario.
It didn't showcase much though because he looked slow.
Oh, but he sort of wore his fucking, he got his wheels rolling from the game, didn't he?
Today was a better showcase. I mean, he had 17 points and after aside from the first quarter aside against the Spurs, Dario was able to stretch the floor a little bit better in today's game. And I think that was the problem against Houston. DA just did not get the ball against Houston. Now, granted, he spent a lot more time on the bench because of foul trouble, but I still think that there was opportunities for us to give DeAndre Ayton the ball, and we didn't. In particular, and I sort of put it on Twitter, that last play of the game, there was 3 separate opportunities we could have gone into DA and let him take the winning shot. Twice he was standing by himself, but we wanted our guards to take that winning shot. Now, that frustrates me, but I sort of got off topic. Dario clogged up the paint and took DA out of those opportunities, especially in the sort of first half against Houston, that's my point. That's my point there is, we could have been far further in front, but look, at the end of the day, we sit there and we'll dissect this stuff. People will lose their minds when we lose a game because as Phoenix Suns fans, we always do. But reality is that this is kind of what we wanted. We don't care about whether or not we win every game. What we care about is making sure that we're healthy come the right end of the season and we win enough games to be in a good position. There is
ones that don't matter.
There is one more person who probably wants to put a little bit of feedback into this. Nate, welcome aboard, my friend.
Fuck yeah, fellas.
How's that?
Sorry I couldn't be there in person. I've got the meetings happening that Boyd was referring to.
And you've got a litre and a half of beer there in one.
No,
glass,
the 3 litre one's already gone, so I'm now onto the self-serves.
We're just
it's the only way to conduct business. It's still daylight here, Bill. You might be night time back home, but
the sun's shining and it looks fucking magnificent there. We're just wrapping up on this week's this week's matches, mate? Do you want to throw anything out there?
Mate, I thoroughly enjoyed the Chicago game for 3 quarters. That's all I got to say on that one. It was a pleasure to watch, and his points really snuck up. That was the one thing I noticed. He didn't really feel like he just blew up. He got that third quarter, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, he's at 40. Oh my god, he's at 50. The one comment I think I don't know if you touched on it, Gav, made to you was that our 2 draft picks, as in Booker and Ayton, combined for 81 points.
Yeah, so I've sort of slipped that into our this week's in Suns basketball later on because I think that deserves. No, that's fine. I think in Ayton, I think as a whole that deserves to be spoken about much more, and it hasn't been spoken about enough. The development of our own squad. There's always been a focus way too much on the fact that Chris Paul came into the squad. And I think we should talk about that a little bit more, so we will later on.
Right.
Let's move on, unless you have any other comments about any of the other games there, Nate.
Oh, what about this morning? Because so in Singapore, it was a 5 a.m. start for the game, and the fucking thing was wrapped up by halftime.
Did you get up?
So, yeah, I did actually. I did. I'd be the office early anyway, so I started watching the game. I'm like, oh, this is shit. I just went the office.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't the. It was great to watch because we always love beating the fucking Spurs. Fuck the Spurs. But yeah, though that wasn't. I said before, basically the Spurs game was traffic cones.
I just like the particular point where EJ was. He was lost for content, so he started talking about. Oh, I like San Antonio as a city. I like walking around. I really like the river. I want to throw some chlorine tablets in it in case I fall in. How boring did the basketball game get? Where EJ's talking about chlorine tablets in the river. I mean,
sounds like what happens when you're watching Test cricket and it gets a bit boring and they start talking about seagulls on the ground and what's going on.
Boring moment in cricket. I thought the whole thing was boring.
That's enough from you, Hamo. Player of the week, guys. Who's your player of the week, Hamo?
Look, it's pretty obvious, I reckon, man. After all the criticism, he had a blinder of a week, man. And DeAndre Ayton deserves it from me.
Well, he did win the NBA Player of the Week, the Western Conference Player of the Week. So, Boyd?
Rightfully so, too.
Yeah, so kudos to DA, but I'm 100% going to give it to D Book. And now, for this reason, we often overlook Booker because he's our star, and there's a certain level of expectation that we have on him. Hey, can you mute, Nate?
Sorry, buddy.
Hear all them Singaporeans fucking talking shit in the background. No, but yeah, look, there's a certain level of expectation that we put on Booker week in, week out, and he doesn't get as many props as he probably should. Now, the distinct difference is that what DA is doing right now, it's the he's at the height of his career so far, right? He's at the peak of where it's been. It's not the peak, but it's the peak of where it's been thus far.
Hey, Boyd, could you just mute your mic, please? All I can hear is your children in the background.
Are they little mini Singaporeans in your background, Boyd?
That's one little fucker, right? And he's been a cunt because I'm in here talking to you fucks.
24 minutes.
But it's going to get a lot louder. Anyway.
Sorry, bro, you opened that door. I had to walk through it.
I know. Thanks, mate. Thanks. I've learnt to block it out just quietly. But so look, DA has catapulted himself with his performance into the all-star conversation. I truly believe that. Whereas Booker, and you will see, it's doing the rounds on social media and whatnot. He's catapulted himself into the top 2 of the MVP discussion, and that's a little bit different.
Top 3. I wouldn't say top 2.
Top 2, 3. I say 2. You say 3. It's okay. But yeah, so that's why I'm going to get the book, and I'm just going to quickly mute guys while I go shut this fuck up. Hang on.
Nate, who was your player of the week?
Mate, like Hamo said, it goes without saying, Ish Wainwright. Well,
Actually,
it's more of an it's more of an encouragement. The fucker finally got some regular minutes, didn't he? He became very valuable.
I did want to mention that. His week has been pretty underrated. Ish was great this week in the minutes he got.
He had a huge week, man.
I was making a joke when I said that he was as my player of the week, but I got to see more of him this week than I think I ever have.
Yeah.
So it was
And
good to see
he played good
him
minutes.
gel. Yeah. And that throw every week. I mean,
It's a quality throw.
he's got some spare time because that must take some effort.
Yeah.
Because he's on
It's a
two-way
quality
money,
throw.
so he's doing that himself.
Yeah, that's right. He's not going to a specialty person to do that shit.
No,
That's for sure.
no.
For me, it's Devin Booker. Pretty hard to go past a week of someone scoring 2 games of plus 40 and 1 game of plus 50. You just can't go past Book. If we bought this back last week, and I'm glad I have bought it back, but if we bought it back last week, it probably would have been Aiton. But yeah, just based off those 3 performances alone, and even today, I think he had limited minutes, still scored over 20, had several assists, several rebounds. Devin Booker, 2 votes. You are the player of the week, and just off the back of that, we have to go.
Book it.
Just in fairness,
Okay.
What was that, Nate?
I said just in fairness, give it 3. I just wanted to give Ish Wainwright a mention for conversation, but Booker for me, 100%.
Even
definitely.
the lady
He
doing
was
the
there.
commentary for the Spurs even talked about how the Suns in general and Booker don't get talked about enough as contenders for the championship since what's happened in the last 2 years. But Booker in particular, about how he's not mentioned enough in the MVP conversation, that even the Spurs chick couldn't work out why.
Well, there was a really good conversation. I was listening to NBA Today with Malik Andrews, RJF, and Kendrick Perkins, and Perk's all over fucking Booker's top 3 MVP. And
Perk's a fuckwit.
he might be a fuckwit, but he's absolutely pushing the narrative that we want to hear right now, which is that Devin Booker should be in the top 3 MVP conversation.
Oh, Perk's the greatest commentary I've ever heard in my life. He's 100% right. Everything he says should be taken as gospel, man. If he's into Booker, he's my man.
Well said. On this note, Richie, let's get stuck into the games coming up this week.
Oh,
So this week we have Dallas tomorrow, 12:30, second of a back-to-back. Boston at home on Thursday at 2 p.m. New Orleans on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. and New Orleans again on Monday at 7:30 a.m. These are all Melbourne times, people, so apologies if you're upset, but I do these fucking slides, so fuck you.
Gav, I'm going to go first because I got to run on you.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to say I've slipped the Monday game in because we're not sure whether we can do next Sunday either. But yeah, Nate, go first. What are we going out of those?
Just so I
4?
can stop with all this irritating background noise that I was pissing you guys off and probably making broadcast quality useless. Look, we got to beat Dallas. Don't care where it is. I want to think that we beat Boston, and I'll say we'll split the New Orleans games. So I'm going to say 3-1 on the 4 you presented. Feel free to mock me, Boyd.
Boyd.
Can you quickly tell me who's playing? So we've got Boston.
I'll stick it back
Matt,
up on the screen, mate. There you go. Dallas, Boston, New Orleans, New Orleans.
Dallas, Boston, New Orleans. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'm going to go a little bit different this. No, I'm not. I'll go for all W's. I'll go for all the wins, all of the wins. And Dallas, tomorrow's game against Dallas being the biggest. Boston.
Is it
Boston.
though? Why is the Dallas game the biggest?
It's not.
Because
Dallas
it's
game
fucking
is not the
done.
biggest.
Boston's the game. Boston's the
I don't
game.
give a fuck
Okay,
about
okay.
Luka. Luka's fucking 500 and not important.
You don't have to care about Luka.
Fellas, this is a good time for me to sign off, just so I can go, fuck you, boy. It's not about Dallas, it's about Boston. And I'm going to go in there, and hopefully we beat up on Boston. We
Cheerio,
shit on
mate.
Al Horford's head. All right?
Cheerio,
Thanks,
buddy.
Nate. Cheers,
Johnny
mate.
Nicky.
All right. Thanks again, fellas. See
See you,
you.
man. Go, boy.
You cunts don't have to fucking worry about what gets me up for a game. Whatever. If Boston does it for you, it does it for you. For me,
No, I'm talking about the reality of the status of these games based on this season. Dallas is fucking down the bottom somewhere. What do they matter? Boston's the side we're going to play for the fucking title
and we're not going
when
to
it
see
gets
him.
to June.
We're not going to see him until, and it's not going to count.
Okay, I'll give you a second one then. At the moment, the talk is Tatum versus Booker for MVP. That's another fucking matchup within that matchup.
Yeah, that's one, and it could change a million times throughout the year too. Guess what's
Could
not
do,
going to
but
fucking
it doesn't
change?
right now.
Guess what's not going to change? The fucking playoffs that we've just fucking been through against the fucking Mavericks. That's not going to change. This MVP race could change multiple times until then. So I'm sticking with the fucking Dallas hate. And the
Okay,
grudge
so
match
Richie thinks you're a fucking idiot too. Best in the East versus best in the West. That's the game.
Well, I hope you and Richie enjoy watching it. Maybe you could start a group chat and fucking talk to each other the whole time.
Oh, we'll chat in our group chat. Don't worry about that. That's,
Fucking sucks.
you can worry about whether or not we beat the fucking San Antonio Spurs or Dallas Mavericks, the shit down the bottom of the ladder.
Okay. Carry on.
No, go. So 4 dubs for you.
4 dubs. And look, it's going to be a tough end. I'm all
This is a tough
about,
run. This is a tough 4 games.
Yeah, I'm all about the Pelicans and what they're doing lately, and fucking your
they're
mate Avocado.
Second in the West now.
Yeah, exactly. And your mate Avocado. What the fuck, man? These cunts have him on a killer contract, just quietly.
Yeah, they do.
He dropped. He was 8 from 11 from deep. 38 points off the bench.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I
And
can't.
he's not even guaranteed for the rest of the year yet.
I hope Chris Paul's back for that game. Just quietly. That's going to be a must-watch couple. A lot of people are going to say that we split them games just because that's what a lot of people do when we play the same team on back to back. But nah. I think that we get him. Brendan Ingram's been in and out this season. He hasn't been that same guy that he was in the playoffs against us.
In and out burger.
Yeah. Look. I don't see consistency from.
Well, he'll
Ingram.
never be the same player now because Zion's there, so he's not going to get as much of the ball.
And that's right. And we're still waiting for him to request that trade, right? So, I think we get the 4 W's, and I think that we really enjoy hanging our hat on the body of work. And you watch the national media after this week's stretch of W's start swooning over the Phoenix Suns. It's going to be brilliant.
Hammo.
Yeah, look, Luka's a hoe. We all know that. I was looking through the Mavs stats and rosters leading into this, just because it is one of those talked about games. I really don't care so much the weight of the game. Like, I think the Mavs are 11-11 at the moment. They're fuck all. But why the hell are they starting McGee over Christian Wood?
Well, they stopped that. They're actually starting Dwight Powell now.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say it's like a $6 million discrepancy per year between the two.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to.
But I can answer that. The fact is, Jason Kidd does not like Christian Wood.
Oh, well, that means everything then, doesn't it?
Doesn't trust him. Doesn't trust him. Believes that he is a sieve on defense. It's Jason. It's the way Jason Kidd works.
Hey, if that's the answer, then that's the answer that I was looking for. So I had none. I'm really looking forward to Luka breaking down and getting a tech foul. That's what I want to come out of this game against the Mavs more than anything else. I just want him to break down and start to cry and just really, really, really lose his shit.
Short odds on a Luka fucking sookfest. Sure,
Oh, mate, I can't wait to see it, and it's going to be my new Facebook profile picture and shit going forward when it does happen. Like you were saying, Boston. This is the NBA Finals preview in my eyes. I'm really looking forward to it. Our defense will be key, and I know that sounds cliche or whatever, but I really don't like Jason Tatum. I'm not saying he's not a bad player. I just hate to look at the prick. I don't know what it is. But yeah, Boston will be the most important game of the week. Pelicans game 1 will be tough because the New Orleans has a very, very energetic and vocal crowd. The whole, I know it's the football thing, but the Who Dat Nation, everything like that. Again, the defense will be key. And when it comes to Pelicans at home, the home crowd advantage is only going to help. I think with the Pelicans lineup, we could see it's 50-50, but I think we could see more of a smaller rotation coming from us, just to try and, especially in the second game, just to try and fuck with them a little bit. And like we did today, they don't know where the points are going to come from. So yeah, I'm going to do exactly what Nate said not to. I'm going to do 3 and 1, and one of them may be the Pelicans game.
What did Nate go again? Just, I think I missed it. Do you recall?
3 and 1, and he
3
said
and 1.
we'll split one of the Pels games.
Split the Pels, yeah. I just think back-to-backs like that, man. You give your opponents a chance to. It's like a second round in a boxing match, or like cage fight or something like that. Give your opponent a chance to work you out. But I'm hoping that with how quickly we are changing our who's doing our scoring and so forth for us, that we're going to be able to get past that. But if we do drop one, yeah, I'd say it could be one of the Pels games, more than likely the one in New Orleans.
Okay, so we're going a little bit slowly here, so I'm going to try and go as quickly as I can. Coda Kid said we'll go 2 and 2. I agree with that. I think that we drop 2 of these games. It is a really tough 4-game stretch. We have some tough games afterwards as well. And I think that as much as we've loved what the Suns have dished up so far, eventually missing 3 starters and your backup power forward, as it currently stands, is going to put too much pressure on these games that are coming up. And I'm with you, Boyd. I'd love to see Chris Paul back before the Pelicans. I don't think that Chris Paul will come back this week either. I think he'll miss all 4 of these games. And when you're missing Chris Paul, Cameron Johnson, Crowder's not shown up, and Torrey Craig's missed a few games, which has put some additional pressure on. I just think we drop 2 of them. I really hope it's not Dallas, because Suns Twitter will go into fucking epic meltdown if we lose to Dallas, just based off the playoffs last year. And look, I really hope that we don't lose to Boston. So I'm going to go that we beat Dallas, because I hope this team just goes, fuck it, we're never losing to them again. And I hope we beat Boston, and then I think we'll drop back-to-backs to Pelicans in New Orleans. We play both games there. And I think that those games will be the trigger for the return of Chris Paul. And I think that Cameron Johnson's probably not too far away after that. And dropping a couple of games there ain't going to hurt us. But let's be honest, based on this season, if we do drop 2 games, it'll be by a grand total of 2 points.
And judging by our chat going on as well, the live chat here, everyone's got a different opinion, which is good. So all of us are excited to see what comes out this week, man. Totally.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. If we can, I'm concerned about especially if Juice isn't playing. I'm really concerned about how we do put a lock on Jason Tatum, because I think Mikhal's probably more likely to go to a Jaylen Brown than he is a Tatum. But in saying that, we could see him there. But if we've still got that caliber of players out, from our lineup, I think that either Tatum or Brown is going to probably be pretty tough to stop, because unless we run a Kogi, who was almost a triple-double today.
Who, if you remember last time we potted, man, I said his defense was up there par with Mikal Bridges. I don't know why you argued with me, but no, he's brilliant, man. He should be there every week.
Thank fuck you actually watched the basketball this week. The Suns will fuck with us and lose that home game, but win that away game against New Orleans, probably. So the second point of that, and part of the reason I'm concerned about that New Orleans game, especially if Ingram does play, we know Mikal will go to Ingram. If we're still without Cam Johnson, still without Chris Paul, still without Juice, Juice may potentially play, but who are we going to play on Zion?
Nah, that's the problem, isn't it?
I mean, based on the lineup we rolled out today, Zion's going to eat us alive.
You could hope for a lot of people to show up for us, but there's no one that has the shit.
Unless we play this guy at the 4.
That's a knife. Crocodile Dundee.
When we play the Pelicans, please don't play Dario Saric on fucking Zion Williamson. Like, at least try and put Jock out there or something. Fuck's sake.
Boyd said it, man. Ish might be the one.
Ish might be the one, but I'm concerned about Ish's height, but I'll tell you what, he's a brick shithouse, isn't he? When people have tried to drop the shoulder and go through him, they haven't been able to. All right. It is quarter time in the NBA season. Can you believe we're fucking 25% of the way through the season already? It's fucking chaos, isn't it? Give us your thoughts on the season so far, and let's go with the obvious one. Talk to me about your thoughts on what the Suns have done in the first quarter of the season. And let's kick it off with you, Hammer.
I'm pretty happy, obviously. I was kind of hoping that we wouldn't quite be this high up on the ladder. I just didn't want the pressure of what happened, in the last season or two, this early in the season. But still very happy. Very excited to see what happens when CP3 and Cam J come back. Look, you can't argue with being best in the West. You can't. I just was kind of hoping to be more of a sneaky this year. Just sit around the 4 or 5, somewhere like that. But I ain't going to argue with Dubs, man. They're W's for a reason, so I'm going to take them.
Boyd.
I think this is it's really playing out. It's playing out really nicely. I think there's plenty more that we can do from a trade standpoint.
And we know a trade's going to happen with Crowder, right? He's not going to get past the deadline without going.
But I think with having our three starting quality players out for extended periods, I think it's given us that opportunity to have a good look and to give this bench some confidence. They're knocking rust off as well. They're getting all these extra reps that they wouldn't normally get. It's dividends in the second, third, and fourth quarter of the season. So I think it's like this first quarter has been real. It's been perfect, and we've managed to get a fucking lot of wins and be the best in the West, whilst getting these guys extended looks. And it's I think it's going to be really key for the end of the year. And also, what I really liked is when we're blowing teams out, and not only are we seeing more players getting extended looks, but when they're going in there with a 20, 30-point lead, they're playing a bit freer. They're playing, there's less demand, there's less mentally holding them back. They can really, really branch out and try new things too. So, yeah, that's been really good in this first quarter. I've enjoyed watching it, and I'm enjoying watching Monty get the best out of our deep bench, I will say.
And, well, I think Richie said it in here. If we were going with a report card, the Suns are an A so far. Our bench has surprised us all.
100%.
They've been very, very good. Obviously, before the season,
major stars, and we're still here.
and that was that's the point I was getting to. Like, if you look at the start of the season, pre-season, everybody spoke about our biggest fear being the bench. Our bench has been fucking excellent. Damian Lee, such an underrated signing for this side. Josh Okogie's done the job in the minutes that he's come on and played. We've got Jock Landale. Well, everyone went, fucking Jock Landale. Well, he's come in. He started as the number one backup centre, and dominated. Busy has come in and I don't think Busy's performed as well as Jock has, but he's gone in, done his job as well. These guys, they're all coming, and we just spoke before about how important the minutes that Ish Wainwright's been putting in since he's had to come into the rotation at the 4. Dario was great today, not so good against Houston, but everybody who comes into this lineup does their job, and that's exciting. And while James Jones copped a hell of a lot of shit, it looks like he's somehow managed to get the fucking Cheetos again to do the work. Juice has gone back to where he was. Campaign has gone back to where he was. And we've done all this without Chris Paul for a majority of the season, Cameron Johnson for a majority of the season, Jay Crowder for the entire season, and little bits and pieces, injuries everywhere else. It's been fantastic. And Coda Kids just said it there. I think DeAndre has to take it to another level this week. Yeah, he does. But you know what? He showed us that other level in the last 2 weeks. DA is giving us what we need to do. And Boyd mentioned it before. He's taken us to that level. But not only that, he's taken himself right into calculations for an all-star spot. Just because if you look at the centers in the West, he's clearly in that mix of the top 4. And we know that at least 2 centers and, 7 bigs have to be selected in an all-star team. The guy's a chance. So overall, just it really has been. If we approached a lot of people at the start of the season and said we're going to be 16-7 and sitting on top of the West, would you take it? Everyone would have jumped at it with both hands. But we've lost a couple of games and Suns Twitter tried to burn the city down. But reality is that's we're sitting on top of the West with 2 of our starters out and another one who didn't show up. So the Suns their first quarter has been pretty damn impressive. Let's talk about the West. So currently the top 6 in the West: Phoenix, New Orleans, Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, and Golden State. The game difference between 1st and 6th is 3.5 games. Then we go to the Clippers in 7th, Portland 8th, Utah 9th, Dallas in 10th, followed by Minnesota, LA, OKC, Houston, and the Spurs. Now I'm gonna make a blanket ruling here and straight away rule out the fact that San Antonio, Houston, or OKC can in any way make the play-in. I think those 3 sides are no chance. If there was to be a change, so let's talk about the top 6 into the sides that are in the play-in at the moment. Boyd, do you see any of the sides outside of the top 6 at the moment replacing any of the sides inside the top 6 for a guaranteed play-in spot or playoff spot?
Can you repeat the top 6 for me again, mate, please?
Phoenix on top, the Pelicans, Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, Golden State. And the gap between 1st and 9th is 3.5 games. The gap between 1st and 10th is 4.5. And Dallas sits in 10th.
I think the only one out of that top 6 is probably Sacramento. It's probably a newer chemistry there with Sabonis, and I just feel like if the wheels are gonna fall off any any franchise that you out of the 6 you just mentioned, it's probably going to be Sacktown. But in saying that, I'm really not.
So who
confident.
replaces them out of those other four? Clippers, Portland, Utah, Dallas.
I think it's more likely to be a Clippers, given their health starts trending upwards. I won't say Dallas. I'll never fucking say Dallas. I think the
and that's probably a good move because Dallas is a playing team at best right now.
Yeah, and look, I think
with how they're structured,
I think the initial fast starts from Utah and fucking who's that other fucking the Trailblazers.
Portland.
They're starting to sink as we can see in the standings. I think that they've been somewhat.
Well, the Blazers have won their last 2 in a row.
Yeah, look, but is Dame's already starting to have injury woes again? That same calf, was it the same calf that he did previously? But yeah, so look, I just feel like that will be a major blow unless they get something really special from the Lakers.
So for you, you've got the Clippers going in for Sacramento,
possibly,
and then you're talking about Portland and Utah dropping out. I've basically ruled out the bottom 3. So you say if Portland and Utah drop out, Minnesota and the Lakers go into the play-in.
Hang on, are Utah and Portland in the top 6?
No, they're in the play-in right now.
In the play-in, yeah. I'm not going to give too much thought to that because that's so far up in the air. But I'll just comment right now.
It's a quarter of a season sort of throwaway prediction. Whether or not you think if you think they'll drop out, that's fine.
I'm not going to say the Lakers. I'm not going to say the Mavs because the words aren't going to come out of my mouth. So
do you think they'll? And let's be honest. Do you think those 2 sides have the capability of making the play-in?
The Mavs do.
So not the Lakers.
No, I think the Lakers are gone.
What about the Timberwolves?
Timberwolves, mate, they have been so. Yeah, look, they do only because they have not, by any stretch, worked anything out as a playing squad together, and I just feel like they have too much.
Well, Cat's going to miss the next 6 weeks anyway.
Yeah, that could.
I think that'll actually help him.
Yeah. I still think Gobert and Ant getting that work on their game. Their 2-man game, I think, is going to be priceless for them guys. So yeah, look, I think if anyone, they, along with Dallas, could still be there.
Hey, mate.
Yeah, look, just quickly, these are the notes that I've got. The Warriors will climb in the standings, more than likely. The Pelicans and Kings are high, especially the Kings are higher than expected. The Jazz dropped right off real quick, and the Clippers will continue to drop as the Blazers rise. Now, Richie, you're asking a question in the wrong chat, but the answer is it has something to do with the Portland International Airport. So look that up. But yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at in the West. I think the Blazers are going to continue to go. I have never had any faith in the Clippers. I just think there is too much money involved for absolutely no substance, really. So yeah, I mean, watch out for the Warriors. The Kings are going to continue to do the Kings, which is awesome. It's nice to have a different team in there, and I thoroughly enjoyed beating them the other day and watching the game. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but there's not going to be a whole heap of new faces or anything. Like Gav said, not going to see OKC coming back.
So my last question for you guys. Oh well, I'll tell it. I may as well use mine. Utah will drop out. It's the squad's built that way. Portland also a chance to drop out. And I do think that both Minnesota and the Lakers will make the play-in. Lakers are on a 3-game win streak. Anthony Davis, whether we like it or not, old street clothes, is in ripping form. and they are going to be a much better side when it comes to those sides between 5th and 10th in the league. And by that will give them enough wins to get into the play-in. Dallas will get into the play-in just off the back of Luka being better than OKC, San Antonio, Houston, all of that sort of stuff. That I could just see them coming in. And as I said, I think Minnesota will be better for the fact that Cat is going to miss the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks. So I could certainly see them coming in. So without you getting the chance to go and look at this, because I'm going to try and rip you guys off if I can, if you make a really bad mistake here. Who's your biggest surprise so far based on your preseason predictions at the quarter, Mark? Boyd.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest surprise? You want Hamo to go first. All right, Hamo. Yeah. Who's your biggest surprise?
From memory, it would either be the Kings or the Warriors.
Okay, so in what way though? Why are they surprised?
They're both higher than I expected.
Well, you had the Warriors finishing first. You did, mate. I've got it right here in front of me.
Yeah, I had them finishing 12th.
No, you had them finishing first.
All right,
you had Memphis finishing 12th.
The who?
Memphis.
I'll review the footage, but I don't think I put the Warriors that high. But no, the Kings.
You had the Kings finishing 11th, so that's a fair call. Boyd, who's your biggest surprise so far?
It's got to be Utah. I think I had them at the bottom of the West. And whilst they're falling back to grace now, still now is probably the the biggest probably upset or surprise for me.
You did have them at the bottom of the West, and I also had them at the bottom of the West. So I think you're pretty close. Outside of that, everything else was fairly close, I think, when it comes to our predictions. So we're not looking too bad at the moment. I'll give Hamos a bit of a shout out here. He had Portland finishing 7th. They're right up there at the moment. We certainly had them missing. So he's picked us up there. What about the Eastern Conference? Legends? Let's have a little bit of a look at how the Eastern Conference standings are. We've got the Celtics, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Atlanta, Philly, and Indiana as the top 6. Toronto, Brooklyn, Miami, and New York in the play-in currently. Then the Wizards, Chicago, Charlotte, Detroit, Orlando are the bottom 5. Now, I'm willing just to go out on a limb here and go, there ain't no changes to this shit. The bottom 5 are fucking horrible, and they ain't getting in.
I think Orlando's going to move up a bit before the end of the season. But I think you're right.
More interested in, do you believe that anyone in the bottom half is going to move into the play-in bracket? Washington, Chicago, Charlotte, Detroit, Orlando.
No, I don't.
Wait, hang on, man. LaMelo Ball hasn't come back yet. He's going to change the game.
No, he did come back and then hurt himself again within like one game. Hamo, can you see anybody in that bottom 5 replacing anyone in the current play-in / playoff picture?
No.
Boy, can you see anybody in the current top 6 falling out into the play-in? So the current top 6 are Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Atlanta, Philly, and Indiana.
Both Atlanta and the Pacers.
And who's going to replace them? Toronto, Brooklyn, Miami, or New York?
Toronto and Brooklyn.
Hey, mate, same question.
Toronto's a bit of a dumpster fire at the moment, man. I don't know. I really don't. It's I got nothing, man. I got nothing at all.
For me, I could see Brooklyn and Miami going in for, and I agree with you, Boyd, Atlanta and Indiana, especially after the news about Atlanta today.
Yes.
I can certainly see that that taking place. And
Read that each way that you want to read it.
For those that don't know about the news that came out today, was Nate McMillan, the coach of the Atlanta Hawks, was very unhappy with the way that Trae Young rehabbed his shoulder, and told him that he was going to come off the bench for their game on Sunday US time. And if he didn't like it, stay home. And Trae went, well, fuck you, I'm staying home.
Now, according to Nate McMillan, that was a miscommunication.
Of course it was.
I like Nate McMillan.
Yeah, I do too. Problem for Nate McMillan is and the way the NBA is built these days, is when your team has stars, the coach is the one that goes, not the stars.
Yep.
That's right. Cancel culture, man. Totally.
So I could see 2 changes to the top 6 at the moment, and I think Brooklyn are actually starting to put together some okay basketball. I still don't think they're a contender for the East. I don't think they can come out of the East, but they're certainly probably going to finish the season in a better spot than Indiana and Atlanta, from my view. Let's go into current awards leaders. At this point of the season, quarter time. We're calling it quarter time. Just an Aussie thing for some of you that maybe not. Anything else? Who is your current league MVP, Boyd?
Devin Booker.
Right.
Of course.
And for the Suns?
Devin Booker.
What about your defensive player of the year?
Usually, an easy one is usually to go with Gobert, but I don't think he's been there this season, given his situation. I'm going to go our guy Bridges again. Another Sun.
Your 6th man of the year.
6th man of the year. I've got, after this week's performance, I've got Jose currently. And for the Suns, I've got Campaign.
Can he be considered a 6th man, considering he started more games than he's fucking
Well, I
off
think
the bench?
it's going to level out. But the award isn't given at quarter time. It's given at full time. So,
hey, we're giving the award at quarter time right now.
Right now?
Yeah. So if the season stopped right now, that's what it is.
For the Phoenix Suns, okay. Fuck. Okay. Well, and I can't even say Tory. 6th man for the Suns. Fuck, you have to give it to Damian Lee then, I think.
Rookie of the year.
Our rookie of the year? No, we haven't got one. So I'll go Banchero.
Hello. And your All-NBA team right now.
All-NBA team. I will go with point guard. Give me Shy. Shooting guard. Give me Book. At the 3, give me Tatum. At the 4, give me Giannis. And at the 5, give me the Joker.
Same questions for you.
No, give me Embiid at the 5.
Same questions for you there, Hamo. Who is your current MVP in the league?
Current MVP in the league is Devin Booker.
And I'm assuming your son's MVP is the same.
Yes, if you're having trouble hearing me, sorry guys, it's absolutely starting a thunderstorm down here.
No, you're good. We can't hear anything. Defensive player of the year?
So currently for the league, I've got Giannis. For the Suns, I have Bridges.
Your sixth man of the year.
For the league, I have Christian Wood. This was before you told me about the Jason Kidd thing. For us, I have Torrey Craig.
And your rookie of the year.
Paolo Banchero. Paolo, can you go, baby?
And your all NBA team.
So I didn't go point and shooting guard. I just chose two guards,
Sure,
two
fine,
forwards,
yeah.
and a center. Ja Morant, Devin Booker, Giannis, Kevin Durant, and Jokic.
Excellent. Okay, so they're locked in now, guys. We'll go back for them. The current MVP in the league, and if it was decided today, would be Jason Tatum. Whether we like it or not, they got the best record in the league, and he has played sensational basketball. But Devin Booker is well and truly on his way up his ass, and I can't wait to see what happens this week.
Can't wait to see Booker up his ass.
Coda Kid agrees with me. So does Richie. Although
They're all
then
on drugs.
Then Coda flip-flopped a little bit. And Richie, we're not allowed to say this. It's apparently racist. My defensive player of the year right now is the Broom, Brook Lopez from Milwaukee. He has been phenomenal on the defensive end so far this year, and a big reason as to why Milwaukee is one of the best teams in the NBA, even though Chris Middleton's missed a lot of basketball, and obviously Mikal Bridges for the Suns. My sixth man of the year, and I'm going to probably cop a lot of shit for this, but I don't really give a fuck. Since he's moved to the bench, Russell Westbrook's been just about the best sixth man in the NBA. I don't think anyone's...
You know what? That's
close to him at the moment.
probably the best call out there. I didn't even consider him being a bench player anymore. So, yeah, that's
He's basically averaging back on near on a triple-double and shooting close to 50% from the field. He's dominating off the bench. For the Suns, I'm with you, Boyd. I'm absolutely with you, Boyd. I've got Damian Lee for the Suns as the sixth man, our best sixth man at the moment. The rookie of the year, Paolo missed way too much basketball for me. I think at the moment the rookie of the year is Benedict Mathurin from the Pacers. He's pretty exciting to watch, that kid, and he's got an ego to match. My all-NBA team at the moment, and I've picked mine based off who I think that if they ended the season right now, who I think the NBA media would vote for. So I've gone Steph, Book, Tatum, Giannis, Embiid. So we're pretty much identical on ours there, Boyd, except you've got Shai and I've got Steph. And I think Steph wins that just based off reputation alone if it came to NBA media. And it wouldn't surprise me if they ended it today that NBA media would vote Luka in front of Book either, because NBA media are fuckheads.
I was reading
Still
something
voting for Kobe.
I was reading something today in regards to Russell Westbrook, and whilst he's leading in like six of the top categories for a player off of the bench, he's got like a true shooting percentage of like 50%. I don't think his field goal percentage was 50%. I think it's his true shooting, which means that it's not great. I don't think he is as effective as what you've seen. Maybe you haven't looked at the overall stats there, Gav, but it's been he's been pretty poor still. But anyway, I could be wrong there too. Who knows? It's happened once or twice.
Or per hour, yeah.
In my life.
Only two that should be in the MVP race is Devin and Tatum. I don't fully agree with that, Coda. I think Giannis is in that discussion as well, whether we like it or not, based on record and everything he does. I just think that's where he's at. All right. Our next segment.
Hello, you know me, your great friend, Donald Trump. Let me tell you about this week in Phoenix Suns basketball.
So this week in Suns basketball, I'm going to cut this down a bit because we are running a bit late. What I want to hear from you guys is who are, because voting's about to start, who are our genuine NBA All-Star chances? Will we have one or two? There was a conversation on the Jam Session podcast. I'm pretty sure it was the Jam Session podcast, where the top ranked sides in the NBA always have at least two players. Could this be the year the Suns buck the trend and only get one? Boyd, what are your thoughts? How many?
I think,
who's going to? How many are we going to get, and who is it? Who's going to play in that All-Star game for the Suns?
I think we get two. I think it's obviously Book and Ayton, and I think it's on the heels of Ayton continuing his current form. Book obviously continuing his. He's a consistent player, and then it's just I think it's more of a question. I'm really dead set on us getting both of them guys in. It's just a question of whether or not we can get our first Devin Booker as a starter. Given that 50% is a fan vote and 50% is players and media, but that's probably going to be the toughest one. Is that he's getting a starter in, but I think he's very deserving of it. But yeah, both of them guys for sure.
Hey mate.
Yeah, look, Booker's obviously our best chance. If Ayton continues doing what he's doing, then yeah, hell yeah, he'll be in the conversation. The only other one I've got there is an absolute sneaky, which is a no chance, just going with me heart, will be Bridges.
I'd love to see Bridges in there. I don't think it's a horrible call, especially because his offense has been a lot better this year. I'm with you, though. I can't see how Bridges gets in. I do think that we will have two players that are voted in, but I think we'll end up with three that are playing in the game. I don't think DeAndre Ayton will make the original team. I think he'll get called in as a replacement. I think Chris Paul will return to the Suns just in time to get enough coaches' votes to get in on the bench. And I think both him and Devin Booker will make the bench, and then Ayton will come in as a replacement, probably for street clothes.
Fucking street clothes.
I mentioned it earlier, would love to touch on it, so let's get onto it quickly. I don't think this gets enough love from any of our podcasts, any of the national media, anything like that, because Chris Paul came into this side. But the Phoenix Suns have basically followed the model of the Golden State Warriors, and I just wanted to get your feedback on and your thoughts on the fact that and we don't get enough credit for it. This Suns team is basically made up of homemade talent that we've developed ourselves. The core of the team is what I'm talking about. So if you look at our starting five, Devin Booker drafted at 13, DA at 1, Cam Johnson at 10, Mikal Bridges at 8. I think it was that we traded for him.
It was 11th or 12th.
Okay, might have been that late. But that's four of our 5 starters, when everybody's healthy, are all players that the Phoenix Suns have drafted and developed a championship contender with. And I don't think this team gets enough credit for it. What are your thoughts, Boyd?
No, you're 100% right. The only thing I don't fully agree with is, from a draft standpoint, yeah, I can see the Golden State Warriors, but from a better comparison for me is the Spurs. When as they went through that period, they were drafting really, really well, but their game style of that really gritty defense, next man up, pass, hockey pass, score, just selfless team basketball is a little bit more like the way we play, rather than having two snipers and just splashing and having
I'm not talking about the way we play, more about the fact that, and I do agree that Spurs team was absolutely like that too. Yeah. But just the fact that we've been able to, and realistically, we had a couple of coaches that started with Book and DA, had a couple of other high first round picks that basically turned into fuck all. But since, and let's say Monty and James Jones era, we've developed a core starting five with one person that was brought in to add to them. And that's fucking impressive.
It's culture. It's Marbo.
It's Marbo. It's the vibe.
It is, and I'll probably reference that line a couple more times from the Castle, but it 100% is that. I mean, we've built brilliantly through the draft, and we've developed these players really, really well. And look, we haven't really lost any of these. I mean, we've only got one more to now re-sign, being Cam Johnson, and we've retained that core, that core of drafted players. There was the Jalen Smith thing, which is okay, whatever, but that was a blip on the radar. But no, you're 100% right. We have developed these guys the right way, and I don't think it could have been done without the likes of James Jones and Monty instilling a culture in this team. This the next man up mentality. The don't freak out if you have 3 games DNP, because you're likely to get to the next 3. Yeah, he's got everyone's buy-in right from the top to the bottom, and it's paying dividends on the court.
Hey, mate.
Built, not bought. Straight up. I think the Sticks thing was a mistake. I think losing Sticks was the mistake.
The mistake was drafting Sticks.
No, I'm still on the Sticks.
Really? So would you'd still prefer Sticks? You'd still prefer Sticks over Tyrese Halliburton?
Oh.
No.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Drafting Sticks was a mistake because Halliburton was still on the board. Desmond Bain was still on the board. Devin Vassell was still on the board.
You're saying it in respect to just Smith in general, not like something else. But no, built not bought, man. You know, exactly the same as the Warriors. You know, they with the exception of KD, you know, that they're all in-house pieces, man. They play with their own deck and they kick the ass, and it's very few and far between. And it's fucking annoying. It really is fucking annoying to watch these. Call them super teams, call them whatever you want, call them the Lakers. It's really fucking annoying. So I'm really happy that we've done. The only thing we've really gone outside of our own core for was CP3, which was a piece that we needed. So hell yeah, man. I think.
And reality was that what we traded for CP3 was stuff we bought in. Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio.
Guys, you know what's really funny about this?
What's that?
We're about fucking 2 months removed from being one of them fan bases with Kevin Durant trading all these pieces
for it. Absolutely. Yeah. But we haven't yet. So I've got to talk about what's in front of us now. And reality is we went 8-0 in the bubble. With Rubio and Oubre. We've made a finals appearance with an entire side basically that we drafted rather than outside of CP3. And last year, if it wasn't for about a COVID and a couple of injuries there, we were, 2 really poor performances, granted, away from a second Western Conference Finals appearance. Like this is, and this year, sitting on top of the West, when everyone thought we were
special. Fucked. That is special for what we've done. And
people forget that. If you go back over these 4 years, people forget exactly what this Suns team's achieved over this last 4 years. It has been special, and we've been lucky. We've been blessed. And sometimes we need to take a step back and enjoy that a little bit more, I think. One more question. This will be a quick one, though. Obviously, the Chicago game, Book 51 points. That was great and everything. But when we wear these magnificent jerseys, we've been having 90s throwback days. When you see the old players sitting on the sidelines, KJ, we saw there was somebody else that we saw at some stage, and Dan Marley
Dan
in the
Marley.
last one. How much did you fanboy? As Aussie Suns fans in particular, how much did you fanboy when you saw them at courtside?
It's pretty damn cool.
I especially enjoyed watching on that national televised game. I think was it TC and Dan Marley chopping
Yeah.
it up, role playing. That was one of my favourite little segues in between timeouts or halftime. I can't remember exactly.
And I love it. And in both games, Book's gone over, dapped them up. Just it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, you got a pen and paper? I've tried to make this one easier because people were starting to suck. Apparently, it's all too hard for them. I've tried to make this one easier.
Henry.
Let's see how we go. It's time for Random Suns. How we go, lads?
Yeah, good, mate.
We're all good? All right, those in the comments, don't go too early. Let's wait until these guys have a guess. I'm going to go to Boyd first. Boyd, who was number one?
Danny Ainge.
Hey, mate.
Yeah, I had Ainge. I can't remember the names on the last two. That's a fucking problem.
It was Danny Ainge. Who was number two? Hey, mate.
Two just sort of, so I didn't get to see it.
Boyd.
Was it Eddie Johnson?
It was not Eddie Johnson.
Fuck.
It was Dennis Johnson.
Dennis Johnson. He looked a little bit like Eddie.
Who was number three? Hamo. These two are recent players too. So
I
come
picture
on.
his ugly head, man. Like, I know the face, but I'm still trying to think of the name of number four.
He was number two.
No, the fourth one.
Oh, yeah. No, well, we're talking about number three here.
Continue on.
Boyd.
Langston Galloway.
It was absolutely Langston Galloway. And number four, Hamo.
He played with the Lakers either earlier this year or late last year. I just cannot think of the fucker's
He
name.
did play for the Lakers, maybe last year, yeah.
He played with Melo.
It was Trevor Reed.
Ariza, he went to the
It was
Rockets.
Trevor Ariza.
Yeah, thank you.
It was absolutely Trevor Ariza. Well played, Boyd. Nicely done.
Well done, boy.
You got three. You did miss out on Dennis Johnson, though. Hey, Boyd. Hey, Boyd.
What?
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with this week, Boyd?
Fucking Dave King. Of course. The man hanging up his hat from the pod father as far as Suns podcasts go. And look, I think a lot of people like to have a bit of a laugh, not at, but with Dave King, because he's like that. He's like the old busybody podcaster. He's lost a bit of patience in the last few years, and he loses his patience with some people nowadays in his chat when he's replying to him. But yeah, look, his body of work has been absolutely unreal for Planet Orange. All Suns over Twitter, just a basic bright side blog that he has. And all of his charity work is it's unparalleled. So yeah, Dave King. I want to have a beer
Before I give the shout out, Hamo, who do you want to have a beer with? Because I'm pretty sure we're going to hear the same thing.
Well, it was going to be Dave King, but after Boyd said that, I wanted to be David Nash from the 4 Point Play, so me and him can sit there and talk shit about you, Boyd, for stealing my fucking beer of the week.
You can have a beer with Nash. That's fine.
Dave King, 100%, man. Dave King.
In all seriousness, a massive shout out to Dave King. I mean, when it comes to Suns fandom, we've only done this for a couple of seasons, but we've all been Suns fans for a long time. We just haven't known each other. But one thing we probably all had in common was that we listened to the solar panel. Dave kept us up to date. Dave, nothing but respect for you, man. What you've done for Suns podcasting is definitely unquestioned. You surely will be missed, especially when I can't sleep at 2 a.m. on a Sunday morning and was able to get up and listen to you and put comments in the chat. But, dude, massive salute to you. Can't wait to come over. Next time we're over, we definitely have to catch up for a beer. We missed you last time. So we definitely have to catch up next time. He'll still be going on Bright Side of the Sun. But, yeah, massive props to Dave King and the solar panel. I'd like to have a beer with, and I'm with Coda Kid here. I want to have a beer with Kim Kardashian and just find out just how clutch Chris Paul is.
Oh, shit.
According to our friend Kanye West, who hasn't made this accusation very often, like only 7 or 8 times previously, which were all fucking full of shit. And this one probably is too. But let's be honest, it fucking makes for a good beer of the week. So I'm going with Kim Kardashian because I'm sure she would tell me exactly how clutch Chris Paul is.
That beer would have to be a long neck, though.
Oh, Hamo. Sonia, welcome aboard. Glad you finally joined us. It's been a really good show, actually. It's been a long one, but it's been a good one. Hey, Hamo, I've got a question for you.
Time for the flog of the week, and trust me, they are ugly, very unattractive. Google their face when you're done here.
Who's your flog of the week?
Kanye fucking West. You led straight into it, brother. Thank you so much. That was the best little segue I've ever seen. No, seriously, dude. No one cares about you anymore, so you got to start throwing random people under the bus. Like, this dude's a family man. You know, I'm sure he's got kids. I haven't looked that deep into his personal life, but fuck me in hell. He's got to be desperate if he's chasing some Kardashian ass. So, Kanye,
I'm not sure he's chasing it. He married it, but if you did want to,
but Kanye saying shit like that in a public forum about people with no evidence, nothing like that. You just want to start shit, break some windows, as you said. Go fuck yourself.
Hey, Nate, what is a Dunkel? Is that the type of beer that you're drinking right now? Maybe clarify that in the chat for us. Boyd, who's your flog of the week?
Yeah, look, Kanye's a good one, but I've got another one. Look, at the end of the day, Kanye's trying to be taken serious, and he's just proven he's just a fucking entertainer. The shit that he's saying is just fucking complete on all fronts. But anyway, yeah, look, my flog of the week is a guy in Victoria by the name of Gavin Sporley. However the fucking hell you say it. Now, I'm getting there. We had a planned FaceTime on Saturday, and Gavin
it wasn't planned.
Yeah, I mentioned it in the
chat.
Was it planned? I mentioned in our chat that I'd FaceTime you when we were both at kids' parties on the 5th.
And I FaceTimed you, so there goes your fucking plan out the window.
No, I FaceTimed you. I missed that because I was cutting cake or doing something really important, and I FaceTimed you. And as soon as you took me over to your legend of a mate, Caleb, to have a chat with him, he just stole all your fucking thunder, and then you hung up because you got upset about it.
I did not hang up. Caleb had the phone. How could I hang up?
Once again, things with no proof.
You hung up on me, mate.
This just sounds like baseless allegations. You are basically the fucking Kanye West of the Aussie Suns fans.
Low blow.
Well, you're the one making baseless accusations here, mate.
I believe Caleb. I don't believe you.
You have no proof of any of this. Nothing. And look, I'm offended. You know how I offered you at the start of the show? I offered you a fucking CP3 jersey that would have been perfect for you. You can go fuck yourself now. You get no CP3 jersey.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Take me.
I'll have it.
My flog of the week. Let's be honest, Kanye's a really good shout. I'm going to go with Rudy Gobert. Why, when somebody is in the fucking air, would you kick and hack at their legs so they fucking basically land on their head? Look, I know you're frustrated because your Minnesota Timberwolves suck fucking ass, but don't pull cheap shots like that on a basketball court. It's just as bad as that fucking other little worm-looking idiot that plays in LA. You can't go trying to take people out and trying to fucking end their basketball careers because you're a sook. Fucking wake up to yourself.
Damn good call.
Anyway, Boyd, it's been a pleasure having you on. You want to tell the people where you're from, what you do, all that sort of stuff? And hopefully we'll have you in a fucking Suns jersey soon so you can actually represent instead of being an idiot.
I'm from beautiful, sunny Bris Vegas. You can catch me at Buds83 Twitter. And it's been a pleasure. I missed out on last week, and I'm glad to be back. And I got the baby asleep, so I'm doing well so far.
Love your work, mate. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'm actually probably just going to. I might just take that Chris Paul jersey and throw it in the bin. It's a duplicate. I don't need it.
You can't.
Hamo.
Hey, you can find us all under Aussie Suns fans on Twitter or on Facebook. I'm at Sir Hamo on Twitter. We're always all willing. Don't throw that out, Gav. We're all willing to just ham it up with you guys. Have a good thing. Sonia, better late than never. It's an Aussie saying. On your Sonia. But yeah, no, guys, just loving this. Give us a like. Give us a share, a subscribe. Do all that. The more you help us, the more that we can help bring the best content to you. And just disregard whatever this dickhead's doing next to me right now.
That'll look really good on me, Gav.
Yeah, it's a shame you won't be getting it after your fucking flog of the week. You offensive bastard. Thank you, everyone. As Hamo said, Aussie Suns fans, get on it. Follow us, subscribe, like, do all that good stuff because we need you. We need subscribers. We need the likes. Gets our message out there. We love you guys. So love us back. Just give us the love. We will see you next week. It's been a pleasure. Paul, we will have you on. I have spoken to your people. We will organise it. Some stage it will happen.
Always forget about this guy, huh?
Keep forgetting about Paul. Big week this week. Huge week in Suns basketball. So really hoping to see 4 wins like Boyd predicted. And hopefully the end of the debate between Tatum and Booker because Book's just going to completely and fucking utterly embarrass the guy on Tuesday our time. Love your work, guys, and we shall see you next week.
As Chris Paul gets in, another wide open three.
Pierre Cardin.
Defers to Booker for the long-range jumper.
P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Chris Paul bring a dinner with a dish. D-Book on the corner with the swish. We the Valley, hating with the dump. Posterizing, now the crowd getting pumped. We the best, I ain't talking about Cali. Who's next? Never winning in the Valley. Can't wait for that championship rally. Send them home, send them back to Cali. Stand up if you're down for the Suns. Put a finger in the air, we number one. P-H-O-E-N-I-X. Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. PHOENIX. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't